It makes no sense to run a Docker container on a virtual machine in production.
Yeah.
No way we would do that. Regarding Kubernetes, at that time, there was no resources to manage a Kubernetes cluster. There was no good reason to try to use Kubernetes.
How did that fit into serverless?
We use ECS Fargate from
Ah,
AWS.
okay.
And with this one, we can run containers without having to manage any underlying infrastructure.
What was the project about and where were you migrating from to where?
We decided that we would migrate out of these data centers and move all to public clouds like AWS and Azure. The first idea was to perform the migration within 1 year.
200 applications in 1 year.
We decided for a lift and shift approach. The idea is we needed to empty our data center as fast as possible to be able to stop the leases.
For people who are starting this today, are there any milestones or stages you would think that, hey, you know what, you don't have to boil the ocean?
First, what I would advise is to find a partner that is used to that and that has experience, because you do not this kind of projects just, let's start, let's try.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to another episode of Cloud Security Podcast. I've got Matthias with me. Hey man, thanks for coming on the show.
Hello.
Could you tell us a bit about your professional background?
So I'm cloud solution architect working for Helvetia Insurance, which is a Swiss insurance company founded in 1858 in Singapore.
Oh, wow. Way older than me as well.
And I'm working in a cloud enablement team, which means that we are providing cloud accounts or subscription to our internal customers.
Yeah.
If some team wants to deploy some resources in the cloud, we are providing them the account with all the base assets like networking, policies, and access management.
Oh, wow. And because I think this kind of leads well into the migration conversation which you've had. We're obviously recording this at HashiCon. In terms of migration, can you tell us about the migration project? What was the project about and where were you migrating from to where?
So basically, initially, we had a data center, several data centers.
Yeah.
And for some license and lifecycle timing issues, we decided that we would migrate out of these data centers and move all to public clouds like AWS and Azure.
Oh, okay. Also, when you did migration from data center to AWS and Azure.
Yes, for several reasons. First, because we want to have things in different locations, different data centers.
Yeah.
And having different cloud providers also helps this.
Oh, right. Oh, you can spread your risk as well from that perspective.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
For regulation issues.
Yeah.
Because it's good to have workloads separated, again, physically and also legally.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And also sometimes it makes sense to put some workload in some specific cloud, like, for example, if we are using Microsoft products, it could make sense to run them on Azure for pricing.
And licensing as well. Licensing becomes a lot more easier, E5 or E7, whatever license you go for. No, it's interesting. And out of curiosity, and you can be honest about this, which one was harder to migrate to? Was it Azure or AWS?
I don't think there is one which was more harder than the other.
Okay.
Every cloud provider has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
And at the end, we don't have a big difference between both.
And did you guys use cloud native automation like CloudFormation or ARM templates?
No, as we are using multi-cloud architecture, we decided to go for a cloud-agnostic tool, which is Terraform, to deploy our infrastructure.
Yeah. And do you find, actually, I'm curious, did you start with both at the same time in parallel, or was it AWS first and then Azure?
So it's a little bit complicated. We started, basically the idea was we put everything on AWS, but we still had some workload on Azure.
Oh, right, okay, right.
And so we always had both.
Running in parallel.
Yes, we always had both providers in use, but the main migration was done to AWS, and now we are looking where to put which workload, if it makes sense to be on Azure or not.
Ah, okay, fair. Okay, so now that I understand between AWS and Azure, you guys obviously had some workload in parallel because you were trying to figure out whether it's AWS more or Azure more. I'm curious, how do you pick workloads? What kind of workload? Like, there's obviously these days you have containers, you have compute instances like EC2, EKS, the list goes on. Was there some thought process around what kind of applications or what? Because I'm thinking more for the people on the other end who would listen or watch this episode. And some of them may be on that journey for migrating to data center to a multi-cloud or a single cloud. So what kind of workload do you pick up?
What we did is we had machines in our data center, virtual machines, and we decided for a lift and shift approach.
Okay, in the beginning, okay.
Because the idea is we needed to empty our data center as fast as possible to be able to stop the leases and stop the licenses. So we decided we do lift and shift everything as fast as possible to the cloud provider.
Okay.
And afterwards, the idea is to modernize the application whenever possible, but this is
ongoing.
It's a future project. So we are not yet there. We finished the migration as lift and shift, and now we are looking forward to what we are doing.
Also, how did Terraform help in the migration if it was lift and shift?
Several things. So first, we have several cloud accounts and subscriptions that have each their network connection, policies, and so on. So to deploy these accounts and subscriptions, we use Terraform to automate this and allowed us to create an account within minutes.
Yeah.
And then also for the migration itself, we have a partner which helped us in this for this migration. So we were not able to do the migration ourselves.
Yep.
And this partner used Terraform to create a Terraform modules for describing basic virtual machine, for example, which is using their hardened images and all their tools around, for example, connecting it to their monitoring system and so on.
Yeah.
And they created these modules and used the modules to deploy the machines and to migrate them.
Oh, okay. So you had different modules being created for Terraform, which almost to your point, each module would have a specific purpose for why that module exists, and then you can use that to automate across multiple workloads instead of just one.
We had to migrate around 200 applications.
200 applications.
So we needed to have this automated as much as possible.
Yeah.
It was in the deal with our partner, which is the migration. They will use Terraform to manage the infrastructure.
Interesting. And I'm curious in terms of automation, and obviously I can understand because you had 200 applications, so you definitely needed some automation. I'm curious, how much did the time reduce in terms of if you did not have the automation with Terraform, and instead if you had to do it one by one yourself, what would have been the time difference? Can you even imagine? Like, I'm just curious as to...
I cannot imagine because it would not have been possible.
Yeah, because you had a very short deadline to move from data center to, when was the license? I mean, 6 months, 1 year,
The first idea was to perform the migration within 1 year.
200 applications in 1 year. Oh, wow. Okay. And you guys managed to finish it, just all of it because of Terraform, just in time?
We managed to migrate most of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair.
And this is mainly due to technologies like Terraform, because having to do this manually, it would not be possible.
Yeah. I'm curious in terms of, I guess, using Terraform across multiple cloud providers. And obviously, I guess Terraform being an open source and multi-cloud, cloud-agnostic language definitely helps. Before this, we were talking about how you were using cloud-native applications being built as well, in terms of you had gone down the path of building an application purely in cloud-native. Could you share a bit about that as well? What was that project about? Yeah.
So basically what happened is one of our branches wanted to run a software that was provided by a vendor.
Yeah.
And this vendor gave them Docker image that they could run.
Appliance, basically. Okay, go on.
And they said, you can run this on a virtual machine with container runtime installed or run it on a Kubernetes cluster. So for testing, maybe it could be good, but it makes no sense to run
in production,
a Docker container on a virtual machine in production.
Yeah.
No way we would do that.
Yeah, you don't go into cloud to put something into a virtual machine again. That's
exactly. And regarding Kubernetes, at that time, there was no resources to manage a Kubernetes cluster, and we just had one application that we want to run there.
Yeah.
So there was no good reason to try to use Kubernetes. And we were there, what do we do?
Yeah.
And we tried to find a way to run this with cloud native tools only.
Okay.
If possible, serverless tools, so we don't have to manage the capacity. We are paying only as we go, and we didn't have to think too much about what we would deploy.
Oh, but because it was an appliance that was given, which was like a server or to your point, when you were given a container OS, how did that fit into serverless? Because isn't Lambda? Oh, can Lambda? Oh, so did you use Lambda? What did you use?
No, we didn't use Lambda. We use ECS Fargate from
AWS. Okay.
And with this one, we can run containers without having to manage any underlying infrastructure.
Yeah.
We just put image of this container, number of CPU, RAM. Do we need some database? Do we need some storage?
What was the learning that you came out of doing this cloud native deployment of the application, where I guess someone was asking you to move a traditional, for lack of a better word, it's a traditional appliance they wanted you to deploy into cloud using cloud native. I'm curious to know was there some challenges, and B, what were some of the learnings and what were some of the challenges that you came across?
So the challenges were to get this running on a production grade.
Yeah.
So because running a container, everyone can do it.
Yeah.
As I said, even on a virtual machine, but here we had to have some surrounding services like load balancing, certificate, HTTPS endpoint, where are the logs, how do we store secrets?
Yeah.
So we had to find...
And do you find that with the regulatory standards as well, does that make any difference if you are looking at a regulated workload versus a non-regulated workload? Because I imagine there's difference, or is it just everything has to be regulated?
We have regulated workloads which have some special needs, especially regarding backup.
Yep.
But this one was not a regulated one,
okay, right,
so we didn't have to take that in consideration.
Perfect. Yeah, I guess those are most of the questions I had. But in terms of people who are trying to migrate, what would be, if you were to put a maturity map to it? Because I think it's easy for us to look at, I have 200 applications in data center that I have to migrate. And it can be quite overwhelming to where to even start. For people who are starting this today, are there any milestones or stages you would think that, hey, you know what, you don't have to boil the ocean in the first go? If there are things like, I don't know if you have one or two things in mind that, hey, if you see this is a great milestone, you're going in the right direction, or start here. Are there some tips you can give to people on different maturities?
First, what I would advise is to find a partner that is used to that and that has experience, because you do not this kind of projects just, let's start, let's try.
Just like Kubernetes, let's just deploy it, get a few clusters.
Yes, this is not how it should be done. So we had a good partner which helped us to first assess which workload should be migrated when. So first prioritize, assess the risk, and check what has to be done.
Okay. Also, make sure, to your point, the first step should not be just let's start deploying. It should be more about let's figure out what applications are suitable to be deployed in the first place. Oh, interesting. And would you go for more modern applications like microservice applications first instead of the thick clients? Which one do you think is better to start with in your experience?
So in our case, we decided to do a block move. Whatever application it was, there was no modernization.
Oh yeah,
directly.
Shift. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's here. There are some workloads which are not suited at all for the cloud, and these ones were excluded. Like, for example, as every old insurance company, we have some mainframes. And this one, we are still having them, but
of course, I mean, I don't think mainframes are going anywhere anytime soon, I guess. I mean, I think they were there before I joined IT, and it'll be there after I leave IT as well. I don't think they're going to go anytime. But I mean, those are the technical questions I have. I've got 3 fun questions as well. First one being, what is something that you're proud of that is not on your social media?
I'm very proud of my 2 little daughters, which are 3 and 5.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's really cute. Thank you for sharing that. Final question, what's your favorite cuisine or restaurant that you can share with us?
I like the French cuisine.
Oh, like the French cuisine. Like, wait, escargot, or what's your favorite dish?
Meat with some sauces.
I love that. Dude, and for people who want to connect with you and know more about say, some of the challenges you had with migration of workload from data center to cloud, where can people connect with you? Are you on LinkedIn or?
I'm on LinkedIn, yes.
Okay, I can put the link for LinkedIn. But dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great chatting with you as well. And I hope you all enjoy it too. And connect with Matthias to know more about migration. Thank you for listening or watching this episode of Cloud Security Podcast. This was brought to you by techriot.io. If you are enjoying episodes on cloud security, you can find more episodes like these on cloudsecuritypodcast.tv, our website, or on social media platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, and Apple Spotify. In case you are interested in learning about AI security as well, do check out our sister podcast called AI Security Podcast, which is available on YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple as well, where we talk to other CISOs and practitioners about what's the latest in the world of AI security. Finally, if you're after a newsletter, it just gives you top news and insight from all the experts we talk to at Cloud Security Podcast. You can check that out on cloudsecurity.newsletter.com. I'll see you in the next episode.